Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Welcome to day 163 of Quran in a Year Plus, where we learn to look at the world and live life according to the lens of the Quran. Today we're going to be looking at verses 70 to 82 of Surah Yusuf. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. فلما جهزهم بجهازهم جعل السقاية في رحل أخيه ثم أذن مؤذن أيتها العير إنكم لسارقون. So when Yusuf ordered his servants to load his brother's camels with provisions, he placed the king's measuring cup, the one used to measure grain for buyers, into the bag of his own full brother without their knowledge, as a means to keep him with him. Then when they set off on their return journey to their family, a caller called out after them, "O caravan carrying provisions, you are surely thieves." قالوا وأقبلوا عليهم ماذا تفقدون. Yusuf's brothers turned toward the caller and those with him and said, "What is it that you have lost, that you are accusing us of theft?" قالوا نفقد صواع الملك ولمن جاء به حمل بعير وأنا به زعيم. The caller and those with him said to Yusuf's brothers, "We have lost the king's measuring cup, the one used to measure grain. Whoever brings it back before a search will receive a reward, a full camel's load, and I guarantee it." قالوا تالله لقد علمتم ما جئنا لنفسد في الأرض وما كنا سارقين. Yusuf's brothers said to them, "By Allah, you already know our integrity and our innocence. As you have seen from our conduct, we did not come to the land of Egypt to cause corruption, and we have never been thieves." قالوا فما جزاؤه إن كنتم كاذبين. The caller and his companions said, "Then what should be the punishment for the one who stole it, according to you, if you are lying in your claim of innocence?" قالوا جزاؤه من وجد في رحله فهو جزاؤه كذلك نجزي الظالمين. They said, "The punishment for the thief, according to our law, is that the one in whose bag the stolen item is found is handed over himself to the owner of the stolen property to be enslaved. In this way we punish wrongdoers." فبدأ بأوعيتهم قبل وعاء أخيه ثم استخرجها من وعاء أخيه كذلك كدنا ليوسف ما كان ليأخذ أخاه في دين الملك إلا أن يشاء الله نرفع درجات من نشاء وفوق كل ذي علم عليم. So Yusuf had them brought back to him to search their bags. He began by searching the bags of his half-brothers before searching the bag of his own full brother, concealing the plan. Then he searched his brother's bag and brought out the king's measuring cup from it. In this way we planned for Yusuf. We enabled him through our decree to place the cup in his brother's bag and to take his brother according to the law of their own country, which was to enslave the thief. This would not have been possible had he applied the king's law for theft, which was beating and a monetary fine, unless Allah willed another arrangement, for He is fully capable of it. We raise in rank whom we will of our servants, just as we raised Yusuf. And above every person of knowledge is one more knowledgeable, and above all knowledge is the knowledge of Allah, who knows everything. قالوا إن يسرق فقد سرق أخ له من قبل فأسرها يوسف في نفسه ولم يبدها لهم قال أنتم شر مكانا والله أعلم بما تصفون. Yusuf's brothers said, "If he stole, then it is no surprise. A full brother of his stole before." They were referring to Yusuf عليه السلام. Yusuf concealed the hurt this statement caused him and did not reveal it to them. He said within himself, "You are far worse in your envy and past actions. Allah knows best the false accusation you are making." قالوا يا أيها العزيز إن له أبا شيخا كبيرا فخذ أحدنا مكانه إنا نراك من المحسنين. Yusuf's brothers said to Yusuf, "O noble one, he has an elderly father advanced in age who loves him deeply. So keep one of us in his place instead. We truly see you as one of those who excel in kindness toward us and toward others." قال معاذ الله أن نأخذ إلا من وجدنا متاعنا عنده إنا إذا لظالمون. Yusuf said, "We seek refuge in Allah from wrongdoing an innocent person for the crime of a guilty one. We will not detain anyone except the one in whose bag we found the king's measuring cup. If we were to do otherwise, we would truly be unjust, because we would be punishing an innocent person and letting the guilty one go." فَلَمَّا اسْتَيْأَسُوا مِنْهُ خَلَصُوا نَجِيًّا قال كبيرهم ألم تعلموا أن أباكم قد أخذ عليكم موثقا من الله ومن قبل ما فرطتم في يوسف فلن أبرح الأرض حتى يأذن لي أبي أو يحكم الله لي وهو خير الحاكمين. When they lost all hope of Yusuf responding to their request, they withdrew privately to consult among themselves. The eldest of them said, "Do you not remember that your father took from you a solemn pledge in Allah's name that you would return his son to him, unless you were completely overpowered and unable to prevent it? And before this, you already failed with Yusuf and broke your trust with your father regarding him. So I will not leave the land of Egypt until my father gives me permission to return, or until Allah decrees a judgment in my favor regarding my brother. And Allah is the best of judges, for He judges with truth and justice." ارجعوا إلى أبيكم فقولوا يا أبانا إن ابنك سرق وما شهدنا إلا بما علمنا وما كنا للغيب حافظين. Then the eldest brother said, "Return to your father and say to him, your son stole, and so the nobleman of Egypt enslaved him as punishment for his theft. We only testify to what we actually witnessed when we saw the measuring cup brought out of his bag. We had no knowledge that he would steal, and had we known that, we would never have pledged to you to bring him back." واسأل القرية التي كنا فيها والعير التي أقبلنا فيها وإنا لصادقون. And to verify that we are telling the truth, ask the people of the city where we were, and ask the members of the caravan we traveled with. They will confirm what we have told you. We are truly truthful in what we have reported about his theft. As we reflect over today's verses, at this point in the story, Yusuf is finally reunited with his full brother, Binyamin. The others standing before him are his paternal brothers, the same ones who separated him from his father and brother years earlier. Binyamin wants to stay with Yusuf, and Allah wants to set the stage for the final reunion with Yaqub. Here is a man who was separated from his family for years, a man betrayed by the very people standing in front of him, a man who now has authority, power, and control. Yet Yusuf does not lie. He does not force the outcome. He does not abuse his position. He does not act unjustly. Instead, Allah plans for him. One of his workers is the one who calls the brothers back, and the brothers themselves set the legal terms based on their own religion for what should happen if the cup is found. Ibn al-Qayyim mentions regarding Allah's statement, like that we were the ones who planned for Yusuf. From the subtlety of Allah's planning for Yusuf is that when he intended to keep his brother, he did so by a means that his brothers themselves acknowledged to be just and fair. Had he taken him by sheer authority and power, it would have been attributed to oppression and injustice, and there was no lawful means within the king's system by which he could take him. So he reached his objective through a path that his brothers themselves admitted was not unjust. He placed the measuring cup in his brother's bag with his brother's awareness and agreement. For this reason, Allah says, "So do not be distressed by what they are doing." From the subtlety of the planning is also the statement of the caller and his companions to Yusuf's brothers. They said, "What will be the punishment if you are found to be lying?" Meaning, what is the punishment according to you for the one upon whom it becomes apparent that he stole it, and with whom it is found? What is his punishment in your law and religion? They replied, "The reward whom the cup is found with, he will be their reward." So they were taken to account by the ruling they themselves issued, not by the law of the king and his people. From the subtlety of the planning is also that when the searcher began inspecting their bags, he started with the bags of the others before the bag of the one who was with Yusuf. This reassured them and removed suspicion of collusion. Had he begun with the bag of the one closest to him, they might have said, "How did he know it was in this bag and not in the others?" By starting with their bags first, that suspicion was eliminated. And we also see, in such a complex situation, how knowledge is correctly applied, without any lying or injustice. And this is important because life is rarely black and white. Ibn Taymiyyah mentions regarding the statement of Allah, "Thus we planned for Yusuf. He could not have taken his brother under the law of the king, except that Allah willed it. We raise in degrees whom we will, and above every possessor of knowledge is the all-knowing." This verse highlights that precise knowledge of subtle and refined strategies that lead to a legitimate objective, loved by Allah and His Messenger, such as supporting His religion, breaking the power of His enemies, aiding the one who is in the right, and suppressing falsehood is a praiseworthy quality by which Allah raises the rank of a servant. Likewise, knowledge through which falsehood is refuted and invalid arguments are dismantled is also a praiseworthy quality by which Allah elevates His servant in rank. As Allah says, "And that was our argument which we gave to Ibrahim against his people. We raise in degrees whom we will. Indeed, your Lord is wise and all-knowing." Allah mentions raising people in rank in both the story of Ibrahim and the story of Yusuf. For this reason, the early scholars said, it is through knowledge, and the context of the verses clearly support this. The story of Ibrahim represents knowledge of proof and argumentation, used to repel harm from the religion through debate and reasoning. The story of Yusuf represents knowledge of governance, strategy, and planning, through which the intended benefit is achieved. The first is knowledge by which harms to the religion are repelled. The second is knowledge by which benefits are secured. It may also be said that the first is knowledge that repels harm from the religion and brings about its benefit, while the second is knowledge that repels harm from worldly affairs and brings about their benefit. Or it may be said that the story of Ibrahim is about knowledge of beneficial speech needed at the moment it is required, while the story of Yusuf is about knowledge of beneficial action needed at the moment it is required. For the need to bring benefit and ward off harm may sometimes require speech and at other times require action. And Imam al-Qurtubi mentions that achieving objectives through stratagems is allowed so long as they do not contradict the Sharia and do not undermine any foundational principle. We can never reach a good outcome by committing something forbidden or neglecting something obligatory. Justice can never be abandoned. And we also learn that when people plan against the servants of Allah, Allah plans in return as well. Ibn Taymiyyah mentions regarding Allah's statement, "Thus we planned for Yusuf." In the story of Yusuf عليه السلام, there is a lesson that whoever plots against others with unlawful schemes, Allah will inevitably plan against them in return. And Allah will certainly plan on behalf of the oppressed person if they are patient with the schemer's plots and deal with them with wisdom and restraint. A believing servant who places their trust in Allah, when people scheme against them, Allah plans for them and grants them victory without any power or effort on their own. So as we walk away from today's episode, we want to turn to Allah, humble ourselves in front of Him, and ask Him to grant us with knowledge, beneficial knowledge, and not only that, but how do we implement that knowledge as we navigate life and the different realms that we find ourselves in, that we always apply knowledge correctly. May Allah give us understanding of His deen. May He allow us to put that into practice. I'll see you tomorrow, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.